My beloved parent, I see the weight of concern you carry for your children, the endless thoughts that keep you awake at night, the prayers that flow from your heart like a constant river. Today, I want to speak peace to your worried soul and assurance to your anxious spirit. Your children are held in my mighty hands. Before they took their first breath, I knew them. Before your arms cradled them, my love surrounded them. Before you whispered their names, I had written them in my book. Your children are not just yours, they are mine, and I watch over what belongs to me with perfect attention and unfailing care. I understand the fears that plague your heart. In these uncertain times, I see how the headlines make you hold them tighter, how the world's darkness makes you want to shield them closer, how each news story adds another layer to your anxiety. But remember, I am greater than any threat, stronger than any danger, more powerful than any evil that exists. Your children walk under my covering. Like a mighty eagle spreading its wings over its young, I spread my protection over them. My angels are assigned to their path, commissioned to guard their steps, positioned to protect their way. They are not walking unprotected through this world. I see how you try to control every variable, protect against every possibility, shield from every danger. Your love for them is beautiful. But let me remind you of a greater truth. My love for them is perfect. My protection is complete. My care is constant. What you cannot control, I already hold in my hands. The enemy wants you to live in constant fear, to be paralyzed by what-ifs, to be consumed by worst-case scenarios. But I want you to rest in a deeper truth. I am the God who neither slumbers nor sleeps. My eyes are always on your children. My attention never wavers. My protection never fails. Remember how I protected Moses in the bulrushes, David before Goliath, Daniel in the lion's den. The same God who watched over them watches over your children. The same power that preserved them preserves your little ones. The same love that guided them guides your precious offspring. I see the tears you cry when they're not looking, the prayers you whisper when they're sleeping, the concerns you carry when they're away. But let me assure you, there is no place they can go where my presence doesn't follow. No situation they can face where my protection doesn't reach. No circumstance they can encounter where my power doesn't prevail. Your children are marked by my love, sealed by my spirit, covered by my blood. The enemy may attempt to harm them, but he cannot override my protection. He may try to threaten them, but he cannot overcome my power. He may seek to frighten them, but he cannot defeat my purpose. Let me speak peace to those midnight fears that rob your rest. Let me bring calm to those anxious thoughts that steal your joy. Let me offer assurance to those worried questions that plague your mind. For I am not just aware of your children, I am actively involved in their protection. The shield of faith you raise for them is reinforced by my faithfulness. The prayers you pray for them are empowered by my promises. The protection you seek for them is guaranteed by my presence. You are not fighting alone for their safety. You are partnering with heaven's resources. I see how the world's increasing darkness concerns you, how society's declining values worry you, how cultural pressures alarm you. But remember, your children don't ultimately belong to this world. They belong to me. They are citizens of my kingdom, heirs of my promises, recipients of my protection. As you reflect on this truth, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to join our community of faith and inspiration. Your role as a parent is precious to me. The love you show them reflects my heart. The care you give them mirrors my nature. But let me lift the heavy burden of trying to be their complete protection. That role belongs to me. and I fulfill it perfectly. When they're at school, my presence goes with them. When they're with friends, my wisdom guides them. When they're online, my protection surrounds them. When they're asleep, my peace guards them. There is no moment when they are outside my loving care. The protection I provide for your children operates on levels you cannot see. Like an invisible shield, my presence surrounds them. Like an unseen fortress, my power encompasses them. Like a hidden guard, my angels watch over them. They are protected not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. I understand how helpless you sometimes feel, watching them step into a world that seems increasingly hostile to innocence and in unfaith. But remember, I am the God who preserved Daniel's faith in Babylon, who kept Joseph's integrity in Egypt, who maintained Samuel's purity in a corrupt temple. I can keep your children pure, even in an impure world. Your prayers for their protection don't just echo in your room. They resound in heaven's courts. Every petition you lift for their safety is heard. Every cry for their protection is answered. Every plea for their preservation is honored. Your prayers activate heaven's resources on their behalf. I see how you struggle with letting them grow, spread their wings, and face life's challenges. The balance between protection and preparation isn't easy, but trust me, I know exactly how much to shield them and how much to strengthen them. I know when to protect and when to prepare. The enemy wants you to see danger in every shadow, threat in every stranger, risk in every situation. But I want you to see my presence in every circumstance, my protection in every setting, my power in every scenario. Your children walk with the King of Kings. What can stand against them? Let me speak to those specific fears that haunt you. Yes, I see the dangers they face at school. Yes, I know the threats that lurk online. Yes, I understand the pressures they encounter with peers. But I am not a distant, uninvolved God. I am actively working to protect, guide, and preserve them. Your children's protection isn't dependent on your perfect parenting or constant vigilance. While your care is important, their ultimate safety rests in my hands. You can sleep peacefully knowing that the one who never slumbers is watching over them with perfect attention and infinite power. I see how carefully you check their friends, monitor their activities, oversee their choices. Your diligence is commendable. But let me remind you of a greater truth. I am working behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances, removing hidden dangers, establishing protective boundaries they can't even see. The protection I provide isn't just reactive, it's proactive. Before a danger appears, I've already prepared the defense. Before a threat materializes, I've already established the shield. Before a risk emerges, I've already created the safeguard. Nothing takes me by surprise when it comes to your children. Remember how I led Israel through the wilderness? A pillar of cloud by day, a pillar of fire by night, visible symbols of invisible protection. I still lead and protect today, though the methods may be less visible. Your children walk with the same God who guided those millions through hostile territory. Let me ease the burden of constant worry that weighs on your heart. You weren't meant to carry the full responsibility of their protection. That's my role, and I fulfill it perfectly. Your part is to trust, to pray, to guide. But the ultimate protection comes from me. I see those moments when fear grips your heart, when they are late coming home, when they're out with friends, when they're facing situations you can't control. But remember, there is no place they can go where my presence doesn't follow, no circumstance they can face where my protection doesn't reach. Your children are not just protected by my power, they're preserved by my purpose. I have plans for them, destiny wrapped around them, calling written over them. The enemy cannot thwart what I have purposed for their lives. His attacks cannot override my intentions. When you see them stepping into situations that concern you, remember, I've gone before them. When you watch them face challenges that worry you, remember, I stand beside them. When you observe them navigating difficulties that frighten you, remember, I walk behind them. They are surrounded by my presence. Even in moments when your children seem to wander from the path you've shown them, my protection doesn't waver. Like the father of the prodigal son, I keep watch on the horizon. My love doesn't diminish with their choices, and my protection doesn't withdraw with their wandering. I remain faithful, even when they falter. Let me address those deep fears you rarely voice. Yes, I see the influence of social media on their minds. Yes, I understand the pressure of peer relationships on their hearts. Yes, I know the pull of worldly values on their spirits. But my truth is stronger than any lie, my love more powerful than any temptation, my presence more real than any virtual reality. I've placed within your children spiritual instincts that will warn them of danger, wisdom that will guide them through challenges, and discernment that will help them recognize truth from deception. These aren't just neutral abilities. They're supernatural gifts activated by my spirit. Watch how I orchestrate circumstances to protect them. A delayed departure that avoids an accident, a changed plan that prevents exposure to harm, a chance encounter that steers them away from danger. My protection often works through what appears to be ordinary circumstances. The enemy may attempt to plant seeds of fear, doubt, and rebellion in their hearts. But I am the master gardener. I know how to uproot what doesn't belong, how to nurture what should grow, how to protect the garden of their hearts from invasive influences. Your prayers for their protection create a spiritual hedge around them. Every time you lift their names before my throne, you're participating in heaven's protective strategy. Your prayers aren't just words. They're weapons in the spiritual realm, actively working to safeguard your children. I see how you struggle when you can't be with them every moment, when you have to entrust them to others' care, when you have to let them step into independence. But remember, my presence goes where you cannot. My protection reaches where your arms cannot extend. My care continues when your watch must end. The protection I provide isn't just about keeping them from harm. It's about developing them into who they're meant to be. Sometimes I protect by preventing, sometimes by preparing, sometimes by strengthening them through challenges. Trust my methods, even when you don't understand them. Let me calm those specific fears that keep you awake. Their physical safety. I have armies of angels assigned to guard them. Their emotional well-being. My peace stands guard over their hearts and minds. Their spiritual protection. My spirit within them is greater than any force that comes against them. Your children's protection isn't just about survival. It's about thriving. I don't just want to keep them safe. I want to see them soar. My protection creates a space where they can grow, develop, and become all that I've created them to be. Remember how I protected young Jesus from Herod's schemes? How I preserved young Samuel in a corrupt temple. How I kept young Timothy's faith alive in a pagan culture. The same God who watched over them watches over your children with even greater attention in these challenging times. I see those moments when your heart races with concern. When they're facing bullies at school. When they're navigating difficult friendships. When they're wrestling with tough decisions. But remember, I am their ever-present help in trouble, their refuge and strength, their shield and defender. The protection I provide includes wisdom for their choices, discernment for their decisions, and guidance for their path. I'm not just keeping them from harm. I'm leading them toward purpose. Every step they take is overseen by my loving wisdom. Your role in their protection is precious to me. Your warnings help them recognize danger. Your guidance helps them choose wisely. Your love helps them feel secure. But remember, you're working in partnership with me, not carrying the full weight of their protection alone. Let this truth sink deep into your anxious heart. I am not just protecting your children for today. I'm securing their path for eternity. My protection extends beyond physical safety to their spiritual destiny, beyond temporal well-being to their eternal purpose, beyond present circumstances to future glory. When you see them struggling with peer pressure, remember, I am building in them a strength greater than conformity. When you watch them wrestling with cultural influences, remember, I am developing in them discernment stronger than deception. When you observe them facing worldly temptations, remember, I am cultivating in them character deeper than compromise. The protection I provide isn't passive. It's active and dynamic. Like a shield that moves with the warrior, my protection adjusts to each new challenge they face. Like armor that grows with the soldier, my protection expands as they develop. Like a fortress that strengthens with time, my protection becomes more established as they mature. I understand your concern about their future in an increasingly challenging world. But let me remind you, I am the God who sees the end from the beginning. I've already been to their future and prepared the way. I've already seen their challenges and arranged their victories. I've already known their struggles and secured their triumph. Your children are marked by my love, sealed by my spirit, and covered by my blood. These aren't just religious phrases. They're powerful spiritual realities that activate heaven's protection over their lives. No weapon formed against them shall prosper. No curse can override my blessing. No darkness can overcome my light in them. Watch how I turn even the enemy's attempts to harm them into opportunities for growth. What was meant to destroy them will develop them. What was intended to weaken them will strengthen them. What was designed to defeat them will actually prepare them for destiny. The prayers you pray for their protection echo in eternity. Every tear you shed for their safety is collected in my bottle. Every concern you lift for their well-being is heard in heaven's courts. You are not speaking into void space. You are activating divine intervention in their lives. Let me address those deepest fears about their spiritual journey. Yes, I see the doubts they wrestle with. Yes, I know the questions they struggle with. Yes, I understand the uncertainties they face. But my truth is patient, my love is persistent, and my spirit is persuasive. I know how to keep them, even through seasons of questioning. Your children's protection isn't dependent on their perfect behavior or complete understanding. While their choices matter, my faithfulness doesn't fluctuate with their performance. My love doesn't withdraw with their wandering. My protection doesn't diminish with their doubts. Remember this: before they were your children, they were mine. Before you dreamed of them, I planned for them. Before you loved them, I loved them. My commitment to their protection flows from my eternal love, not just parental duty. I see how the world tries to steal their innocence too soon, challenge their faith too early, and shake their foundations too severely. But I am the master builder of their lives. What I establish cannot be easily shaken. What I protect cannot be easily penetrated. What I preserve cannot be easily corrupted. Your role as a parent isn't to be their perfect protector. That's my job. Your role is to point them to me, to help them recognize my voice, to teach them to trust my protection. You are partnering with heaven in their care, not carrying the full weight alone. Let this assurance flood your worried heart. I am watching when you cannot see, working when you cannot act, protecting when you cannot shield. There is no moment when they are beyond my care, no situation beyond my control, no circumstance beyond my protection. As they grow and their world expands, my protection grows and expands with them. As they face new challenges, my wisdom guides them. As they encounter new dangers, my power shields them. As they step into new territories, my presence goes before them. Rest in this unshakable truth. Your children are held in hands, stronger than fear, covered by love greater than danger, and protected by power, stronger than any threat. They are mine, and I never lose what belongs to me. So release your anxious grip and rest in my faithful hold. Surrender your constant worry and trust in my constant watch. Exchange your fearful vigilance for faithful confidence in my perfect protection. For I am the Lord their God, their shield, their fortress, their protector, and my protection never fails. Amen.